We have the rig for the heavy characters. I'm going to talk you through some of the controllers that I have on the rig. First of all, I prepared a little animation which will show you how the spring controllers work. This particular bone here and this dummy for the backpacks, and these dummies here help with the spring movement of the ammo belt, and these bones along here are the bones for the ammo belt. So as you can see, the bones bounce up and down independently of the model. So when he's walking and doing whatever actions in the game, all of those are going to bounce and give some nice secondary motion to the animation. Alright, first off, talk a little bit about the feet. There is an overall controller which does this movement. So you've got a bend at the knee, and you can position the foot wherever you want. Along with that, I've also got a parameter slider which does the four main positions of the foot. The first is this, which is just flat foot, and then we've got toe lift, and we've also got the foot roll and the toe roll. So what this allows us to do is position the foot. So for example, in a walk cycle, here, and as you can see the leg goes all straight and it looks a bit odd, but then we use our slider here to position the foot correctly to get a nice pose for our character. Same with the front as well. I've got those same on both feet. It's basically made up of dummies here, and look at constraints from these particular bones to these dummies, and then we use Reaction Manager to set the positions for each part of the slider. So we have position 1, position 2, position 3 and position 4, and we put all of that in the slider. Then we've got this large controller here, which is basically just the movement of everything. Just means if there's at any point you need to move the whole model at once, you can do that quite happily. And then this is the sort of second parent bone, which is the hips. The hips is a good place to have sort of the main parent bone, because everything on the human body really does follow the hips. So you get rotation here, rotation, and we've got up and down, all that sort of movement. Talk about the hands. These are very similar to the hands for the arm rig, but the only real difference is that we have these two extra bones. These two bones are to help reduce the squashing of the mesh and deformation as we rotate the wrists. Basically, it's very similar to a real person where you've got two bones in the lower arm which rotate with the wrist. The arm will be weighted half to this bone and half to that bone, and will follow it round as it rotates. Again, we've got an IK, which allows for the bend in the arm, like so, bend at the elbow. And we've also got the rotation with this one controller, much like we had with the first person arm rig. There's a new controller here, which is a look at for the swivel in the IK. The swivel, let me turn this up. Basically, when you move the swivel, you move the elbow like so, and it will swivel the point in between the IK link. What I've done is set the swivel point to look at this controller. So as we move the controller, the elbow will look at the controller. Again, fingers. They've only got 2 fingers here, as the model only has 2 fingers to save on polygons. And also, throughout the animations, the hands are going to be folded up, holding on to weapons, and they're not going to be seen too much, so it was best to save the polygons for other details throughout the model. These bones are basically, they have a lookout constraint to the dummy at the back, and then are just linked using the link to this controller at the front. So at the back the bone doesn't move at all, and at the front it follows the movement of the controller. Very simple, and it's worked very well. Next I'm going to talk about the head. The head has got a lookout constraint to this controller at the front, and quite happily follows the movement like so. And it also has rotation, all from the same controller. And that is the heavy rig. The light rig is very similar. It has all the same controllers, bar the spring controllers, and this one's got a few extra bones for the ammo and the backpack, etc.